Hello everyone. In this video lecture, let us understand Module 3 Gate Level Modeling. In this lecture, let us understand gate delays. We know that in real circuits, the logic gates have certain delays associated with them. Gate delays basically allows the Verilog user to specify delays through the logic circuits. There are three types of delays from the input to the output of a primitive gate in Verilog. They are namely the rise delay, the fall delay, and the turn off delay. Let us understand each of these delays with an example. The first delay is the rise delay. So the rise delay is associated with a gate output transition to a 1 from another value. So the best pictorial representation is when a logic signal changes its value either from logic 0 or unknown or Z to logic 1, it takes practically some amount of time. So that time or that delay associated to change its transition from 0x or Z to logic 1, this is known as the rise delay or the rise time. Similarly, we have the fall delay. So the fall delay is associated with a gate output transition to 0 from another value. So the pictorial representation of this would be when a logic value of logic 1 or unknown or Z high impedance state changes to logic 0, it takes some amount of delay, that is it takes some amount of delay to change its value from logic 1 x or z to logic 0. That delay is mentioned as the fall delay or the fall time. We have a third delay known as the turn off delay. So the turn off delay is associated when an output transition happens to the high impedance state from any other value. So from logic 1, logic 0 or unknown value to a high impedance state, the delay that it takes is the turn off delay. Normally, if the value changes to logic x, that is the unknown value, the minimum of the three delays will be considered. So let us see how delays are specified in Verilog. So there are three types of delay specifications which are allowed in Verilog. In the first case, we can mention only one delay. Single number can be mentioned. If that is only a single number of single delay value specified, then that value is used for all the transitions. All the transitions means rise delay, fall delay and turn off delay. In the second method, we can specify two delays. Two numbers can be specified. So if two delays are specified, then the first number will refer to the rise delay, the second number refers to the fall delay, and the turn off delay is taken as the minimum of the two numbers mentioned for the rise and fall delay. In the third method, if three delays can be specified, if three delays are specified, each of those numbers will be referring to the rise delay, fall delay and the turn off delay internally. So in the case no delay is specified, then the default value for all the three delays, the rise delay, fall delay and the turn off delay would be a 0. So let us take an example of a AND gate which has two inputs I1, I2 and output out. So when we instantiate this AND gate, we can do it in a number of ways. We can call it as AND. A1 is the label or the instance name, output comma input variable. So we have out comma I1 comma I2. Now delay, if we have to mention a particular delay for this particular AND gate, we have to mention by specifying the hash symbol and mentioning the time, the delay time. So the first case, we can just mention only a one delay, a single delay. So when we mention a single delay, that value is taken for all the three transitions. In the second method, we can write AND, use the hash symbol and specify two delays. So write two numbers, rise value comma the fall delay value and instantiate the same AND gate. So in this case, the turn off delay will be considered to be the minimum of these two delays. So minimum of the two numbers will be the turn off delay. And in the third specification, we will have three numbers. So we have just taken the instantiation of a buff if 0. We could have as well taken the AND gate. So we will be mentioning the rise value, the fall value and the turn off value. All the three values will be specified in this particular representation, and three signals will be used appropriately, that is output, in and control. So we have seen how buff if 0 has a single output, single input and one control line. So this we could have written for the AND gate also. I have just used a buff if 0 here. So each examples look like this. So if we are mentioning only a single delay, so we can write AND #5 A1 out I1 I2. So in this case 5 will be the rise delay, 5 will be the fall delay and 5 will be the turn off delay. In the second case, when we mention or specify two delays, say here AND #4, 6 A2 out I1 I2. So in this case 4 is the rise delay, 6 is the fall delay. The turn off delay is the minimum of the two. So 4 and 6, the minimum value is 4. So the turn off delay in this case is 4. And the last case matching to this example here. So we have the buff if 0, 3, 4, 5, B1 and its input output listed. So in this case the first number refers to the rise delay, the second number refers to the fall delay and the third number refers to the turn off delay. So these are the different ways in which delays can be specified in Verilog. Each of these rise delay, fall delay and turn off delay can have an additional level of control. That is, we can have minimum, typical and maximum values for each of the rise, fall and turn off values. So the minimum value is the minimum delay that the designer expects the gate to have. So the rise delay can have three sub values or additional values. It can have a minimum, typical and maximum value specified. So that gives the design more scope of telling the delay scope. So the minimum delay should not go lesser than that delay. Typically we expect that value, that is the delay expected, or maximum the delay can go up to this number. So minimum is the minimum delay value the designer expects the gate to have. Similarly, we have the typical value. So the typical value is the typical delay that the designer expects the gate to have. So typically this is the value the delay should have. The rise delay typically should be this much. The rise delay should have a minimum value of this much. Similarly, the maximum value, the rise delay can have a maximum value of some number mentioned. So each of the fall, turn off can have a minimum, typical and a maximum value mentioned. Let us understand this minimum, typical, maximum values with an example. So there are different simulators which specify these delays in different ways. So depending on the simulator, we will have, for example, the Verilog Excel simulators specify it as plus max delays, plus typical delays and plus minimum delays. In case no option is specified whether it is maximum, typical or minimum delay, then always the typical delay is the default value. So in case of one delay example, let's take, so if we have specified that the minimum delay should be 4, the typical delay expected is 5 and the maximum delay expected is 6. So we saw the example where we mentioned only a single delay. So in that case, let us see how the same example can be now shown using 3 additional controls of delays. So this is how we wrote AND #delay time A1 list of input output variables. So we can observe here, in the first case we mentioned only AND #delay time, a single delay. This single number, single delay value can have 3 control levels. This is the typical expected value. We can specify a minimum value, a maximum value and a typical value. So this is the same example where we have included 3 sub-levels. So 4:5:6. This indicates this is a single delay. So the same delay is applied for rise delay, fall delay and turn off delay. But the difference is rise delay, if you are considering rise delay, the minimum value is 4, typical value is 5 and the maximum value is 6. Similarly, what is the fall delay in this case? The minimum value is 4. The typical value is 5 and the maximum value is 6. And for the turn off delay, the minimum value is 4, the typical value is 5 and the maximum value is 6. So for all 3 things, the same value is applied. Let us consider an example with two delays. So we know that when two delays are specified, we will have the rise delay and the fall delay specified. The turn off delay will not be specified. It will be the minimum of the rise and the fall delay. So in this case, for the two delay specifications, we have taken minimum, typical and the maximum delays. So let us see an example to understand this. So this tells the rise time can be minimum 3, typical 4 and maximum 5. Similarly, the fall time can be minimum 5, typically 6 and maximum 7. So we are specifying these two values, but the turn off will not be specified. We know that the turn off will be the minimum of the rise and the fall time value. So when we specify two delays, we know that we just mention the rise value and the fall value and we instantiate the gate. So this was the example we had taken earlier, 4, 6. So this is the rise value, this is the fall value. In this case, when we split up this rise value and fall value in terms of additional controls of minimum, typical and maximum delays, we have 3:4:5 for the rise delay. So 3 minimum, 4 typical, 5 maximum, comma. So this complete thing refers to the rise time. Similarly, we have 5:6:7 mentioned here for the fall. So typically fall delay can be 6, minimum it can be 5 and maximum it can be 7. The turn off delay is not mentioned here. The minimum of these values will be considered for the turn off delay, which will be typically these numbers. Now let's take a 3 delay example. So under 3 delays, we know all the 3 delays, that is rise delay, fall delay and the turn off delay, have their values mentioned. So under 3 cases, that is minimum, typical and maximum, 3 values are mentioned. We know how a 3 delay is specified by writing all the 3 values. So this was an example with single values. Now the same example splits into 3 cases. So go to the rise time, we have 2, 3, 4. 2:3:4 is the rise time, minimum, typical, maximum values. Fall time 3, 4, 5. So 3:4:5, the minimum, typical and maximum fall delay. Similarly, turn off is 4, 5, 6. So 4:5:6, minimum, typical and the maximum turn off delay. Now let us understand this delay with an example. We have a gate level diagram whose name is D. This module name is D, having inputs ABC and a single output named out. Internally, there's a connection between the hardware. This is a net, so this is a wire. Let us write a program for this particular module named D. If we carefully observe, for every gate in this particular module, there's a small delay mentioned. For instance, for the AND gate here, we have the delay mentioned as #5. For the OR gate, we have the delay mentioned as #4. Only single delay is mentioned, so this delay specification is just one delay specification. So let us write the code for this. We know every module begins with the keyword module followed by the module name, which is D here, followed by the list of output and input variables. So we have out A, B, C. Then we list out the input ports out of this list, which is ABC, and we list the output port out. And then we declare a wire E, which represents a net or a structural connection between the AND and the OR gate. Now once this is done, we can instantiate the two gates. One is the AND gate and the OR gate with delay. So the instantiation of this AND gate with the 5 delay is AND #5. This is one delay specification giving a label output, input variable. So it is E, A, B. Similarly, OR, the delay mentioned here is #4. O1 is the label, out, E, C, output, input variables, and we can end the module using the keyword end module. Let us write the stimulus for the same example. So stimulus does not have any port list. So module stimulus, this name can be anything. All the input variables in the main program, the design block, must be declared as register variable, and all the output variables must be declared as a wire. And then we instantiate or invoke or call the design block the same name which we had given in the previous module, D. This label is very important, label, and we have to list out the variables in the same order we had instantiated or we had listed in the module declaration. To initialize and give the values, we use the keyword initial, begin. So we have just randomly choosing some values, say a is equal to 0, b is equal to 0, c is equal to 0. If we give all the set of values, we will have 8 values, but we are just taking some sample values here. So after 5 time units, you want a change of 0, 1, 0. After 5 time units, we are changing the inputs to 1, 0, 1. And after 5 time units, we are changing the inputs to 1, 1, 1. And after 5 time units, we are stopping the simulation. So we are taking 4 samples of the input. And finally, we can end the module using the keyword end module. Let us look at the impact of these delays on the simulation waveform. So we have A, B, C inputs. So in the first case, we have the inputs as 0, 0 and 0. So the expression is AB plus C. So we had an AND gate and AB plus C is the expression. E is the output of the AND gate. So AB is represented by the E. Now, if you observe here, from 0 to 5 time units, we have a delay mentioned there. Why do we have that delay? Because we observe till this point, we have mentioned the AND gate has 5 units delay. So, this E is actually A and B, but we are getting an unknown condition in this particular first 5 time units because AND gate has 5 time units delay. So, only after 5 time units, you can see that this 0 is reflected. The first case 0, 0, 0 output is reflected over here. And then when this is 0, OR gate output takes another 4 time units from here because only after this output is ready, E output that acts as the input to the OR gate. OR gate works as E or C. So C is 0 here. So 0 or 0, we are expecting a 0, but we don't get a 0 in this case. It shows a 4 time unit delay, which is the delay specified in the OR gate. So only after 4 time units, it is becoming a 0. That is the OR gate output finally becomes a 0 over here. Next, let's take the next condition example. So we have 1, 1 and 1. The input. So A and B is E. We expect E to become 1 immediately, but E takes all 5 time units to become 1 here. Similarly, after this value has been changed, for instance in this case, E or C is the value of out. Out is finally E or C. So E is 0, C is 1, but it doesn't become immediately a 1 over here. It takes 4 time units and then changes to 1. So this is the effect of the delay. All the changes don't happen instantly. It takes the respective delays mentioned. For the AND gate we have mentioned 5, for the OR gate we have mentioned 4, and only after that delay it encounters or makes those changes appropriately. So this is how delay works in real-time circuits. So in this lecture we have understood what are the 3 types of delays, how delays are specified in Verilog, and the additional control values of minimum, typical and maximum delays with example. Thank you.